My name is Porfiria Azoka Ramirez, and I'm Robert's grandma.
Okay. So my first question to you is, how was public school back when you were younger?
Well, it was fun. We had recesses then that we could go out in the swings and all that stuff. We had no problems with the teachers. It was really fun, and I remember.
What would you say was different from your school back then than how it is now?
Well, when we were in school, when I was in school back then, we had all the different levels. They were all in the same area. We had grade school, junior high, and high school all in the same buildings, like one right next to the other. And right now they got them all spread out.
Um, my third question would be, what would you say would be different economically?
Economically, well, this little town has always been poor. We've always been poor. Uh, but everybody was, I guess we were comfortable no matter how we lived. It was always comfortable. We didn't feel like we were poor, and we were treated equally, all of us.
So there was never any discrimination inside of the schools?
Not that I remember now.
What you recall, would you say was it more Mexicans or was it a mix of whites and
It
Mexicans?
was a mix of whites and Mexicans, more Mexicans than whites,
So Hispanics.
Hispanics.
Okay. Um, what what wars did you go through during that time?
I think we had Vietnam, and that's the one I remember the most. Vietnam, I don't remember any other.
How did that war affect you?
It didn't. It was like we were like another part, so we didn't worry about it. We didn't think it had anything to do with us. We didn't worry about it. I was a kid, so to me it made no difference.
Uh, would you say you had the same technologies you did?
We didn't have technology.
Oh,
We never had technology. We had the schools were all everything we did was paper and pen, paper and pencils. No, when I was in high school, then we started getting intercoms in the rooms, but we never had that in the others. When I was in junior high, all we had was the school bell. That was it.
uh, from what you remember, who would you say was the president when you were in school?
We had President Kennedy, and it was a shock to all of us. I was in a freshman year is when he was killed, and we were all in shock. But that's the president that I remember the most.
So you were a freshman in high school.
I was a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
when he got killed. We were coming in from our lunch break when we got the news on the intercom. One of our teachers, one of our kids came in and they shot Kennedy. They shot Kennedy. So the teacher called the office and told them to put the radio on the intercom, and we were all listening to where they were saying that he had died, that they had been shot.
what would you say you like better from this generation than you did back when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, we had no distinction between whites, Hispanics, or whatever. We all played together like we were all raised the same. There was no distinction.
So my final question would be that how would you explain families back in the day? Was there any separations more than there were marriages, and were there
Then,
more kidnappings back then?
no, I don't think there were any. We had maybe kids that would go to the grocery store and steal a candy or whatever, but there was never any discrimination. There wasn't any. I don't believe we had violence. I was raised where my dad, if he didn't say you can't go out, I wouldn't go out, and that was the way it was. But when we all got together, we all went out in the yards to play, and was the neighborhood kids. We would all play together.
How many years have you lived in this town?
I was born and raised here
So you lived here for your whole life.
my whole life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.